Alright, so today we did 10.2, which was using the quadratic formula to solve quadratics with complex solutions. Okay, so it's pretty much the same process as we did yesterday with the quadratic formula with non-complex solutions, except when we simplify our answer, we're going to have I, imaginary numbers, in them. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is identify A, B, and C. So in this case, A is 3, B is 10, and C is also 10. So those are just our three coefficients right there. Okay, so the quadratic formula starts with negative b, so negative 10 plus or minus the square root of b squared, so that's going to be 10 squared, minus 4 times a times c. Okay, and then this is all going to be over 2 times a. So the whole thing divided by 2 times 3. Okay, so from here we just really have to simplify. So we have to simplify what's underneath our square root first. So 10 squared is 100. And then 4 times 3 is 12. And then times 10 is going to give us 120. Okay. So from there, then just 100 minus 120 is going to give us negative 20. So then we got to rewrite this whole thing. So we've got negative 10 plus or minus the square root of negative 20, all divided by 2 times 3 is just 6. So the part where most people make their mistake is right here when simplifying underneath the square root. So you just make sure you're careful with your signs and make sure that you do end up subtracting them. Because some people just multiply these 3 and then leave that as the thing under the square root. But we can't forget about this term. Okay, so once we get to this step, what we really have to do is just continue simplifying our square root. So negative 20 is negative 1 times 20, first off. And then we can break 20 down into 4 times 5. Then we can break 4 down into 2 times 2. So things that we have 2 of get to come outside the square root. So 2 times 2, we have one set of 2's. And then also the negative 1 gets to come out because the square root of negative 1 is I. So what we're going to end up with here, we have negative 10 still, plus or minus. Our pair of 2's gets to come out. The negative 1 gets to come out as an I. And then what's left underneath the square root is a 5. So that's going to be root 5. And then this is all still divided by 6. Okay, so we're almost there. Our last step is just to simplify if we can. Just the same way that we would simplify a fraction. So each of these things is divisible by 2. So if we divide this by 2, we get negative 5. Divide this by 2, we get 1. Divide this by 2, we get 3. So the way we're going to finally rewrite our answer is negative 5 plus or minus I root 5, all divided by 3. So that's going to be our final answer for this one, all simplified. So there we go.